The world would be a beautiful place if everybody was just happy and got along, but unfortunately, the latest figures tell us 1 in 3 people are miserable. Have a look at the person on either side of you, because if they look happy, it's probably you. And the problem for all of us today is that we're just not laughing enough. We start out okay at around 4 months of age. We're like this. How wonderful is that sound? By the time a child reaches grade 1, they're laughing on average 300 times a day. And yet as adults, we manage to laugh just 17. So what happens on our road to maturity that so detrimentally impacts our sense of humour? We miss the bright side of life sometimes, not because it isn't there, because there are things put in front of us every single day that will solicit this positive chemical response. Rather, it's because the world today is moving at an incredibly rapid pace. So the question we must ask ourselves on a daily basis is, how can we stop ourselves from going crazy in this modern, fast, hectic world? We do just the opposite of what most people do. We try to drive ourselves happy. And the way we can do that is using the most powerful weapon we have at our disposal, and that, of course, is the human brain. If you could take off your hair, and some of you have already done that, well done for thinking in advance. If you could take off the top of your head, unscrew it, look inside, first thing you'd see is the cortex, the grey matter. You'd then go down in through the brain, and in the middle is where you'd find the hypothalamus. It's about the size of a green garden pea, that's all. And from the moment you're born till the moment you die, it beats in conjunction with your heart. Inside here are all the chemicals that make you feel up, down, or indifferent. And the one we're talking about today is the endorphin, the happiness hormone. It is wonderful. And one of the reasons it's so good is because all of us are in a business and an industry where we get stressed. And the experts tell us that endorphins are up to 4 times as powerful as stress hormones such as cortisol and adrenaline. So we've got to try and get endorphins going through our body as quickly as possible and as often as possible. Laughter is one of the great ways of triggering endorphins, as is meditation, deep breathing, acupuncture, physiotherapy, little bit of chocolate. Dark chocolate, yes, over light. Not too much, but a row a day will actually do you the world of good. Also, a little bit of the other. The reason I say that is because when we are in the throes of passion, our endorphin levels go up in our body by nearly 300%. And that's why some of us feel so good after a couple of minutes. Now, obviously we can't be in the throes of passion in the back of the ambulance, or some of you may have tried. But what you can do on a daily basis is to smile. Because when you smile, your brain thinks you're happy. It's been trained to associate smiling with happiness, and you're instantly getting a flow of endorphins. I don't care who you are, you could work with one of these people, or you could be one of these people. If you smile, you will feel better, and the next step to smiling is laughter, which is just a smile that bursts. How would you rather feel? Would you rather feel like this, or would you rather feel like that? It all comes down to how we handle stress. Stress is defined as the human body's reaction to a real or perceived threat. It's up to us to recognise when we're getting stressed, and that's a real difficult thing. Here's one thing I want you to remember. S equals P greater than R. Stress occurs in your life when the pressure that is placed upon you is greater than the resource you have at your disposal. So if you've got a project, if you've got something you've got to do and you feel the pressure, look at the resource. And if you don't have the resource, don't try to do it on your own. Pull in the resources and you will reduce your stress. Stress is a worldwide epidemic, and in fact the United Nations in 2012 did a worldwide study on stress, and in the report, when it came to Australia, it said that Australians felt that 9 out of 10 of us believed that we were affected by stress, and up to 60% felt it was going to be an ongoing problem into the future. Mark Twain said that we only work in life so we may have life outside of work. And that's what we tend to forget. We are all very compassionate people. We want to do our very best for the people we deal with, and it sometimes all becomes about the work. And when it does become about the work, as admirable as it is, you start to have a deficit in your own life, and it starts to have a detrimental impact on you, your families, and of course, in the end, it has a detrimental impact on the work that you do. There are so many people out there with some good ideas on how we can improve our life, and you can't read every book or listen to every person, but they all agree on some things. One, life is not a spectator sport. You cannot expect to get the most out of life unless you actively participate in life. Admittedly, with participation, there does come, as you know, a certain amount of risk. But you can't let that stop you from going forward. Success is in the journey, it's not in the destination. I've taken a journey to get here to you from the other side of the country. I'm sorry I only had 20 minutes. We'll share some more time again at some other point. But until then, this is the doctor saying keep smiling. Thank you, everybody.